All right, Nick Wright, he always joins us. A lot of times, he's not cryptic. He'll tell me if he doesn't like it. So let me guess, you don't like where I put the Chiefs.
No, it's fine for now. They just had a terrible loss. It's fine. It's a little curious that looking at the herd hierarchy, if the playoffs started today, the team that would be the 1 seed, the Chiefs, are in 4th, and a team that would not make the playoffs, and in fact, even if you expanded it to 8 teams, would not be in because the Jets would be in ahead of them. The Bengals are in 3rd. That strikes me as a little curious, but aside from that, it's solid. You and I are the only people outside of Duval County that believe in the Jacksonville Jaguars, so I like that. But because here's the thing, you have been adamant, whether you will admit it or not, that you will not put the Chiefs at the top of a herd hierarchy all year long until they win. So and this week they lose to Denver and your beloved Russell Wilson and Sean Payton, so I get it. Today is not the day to crow, and in fact, because of that, I'm even wearing Broncos colors so they can celebrate the best moment the franchise has had in nearly a decade, the win over the Chiefs to get to 3-5. Yeah. Here's what I would propose to you, Colin Cowherd, and I'm putting you on the spot here.
Okay.
But this weekend, the Chiefs play the Miami Dolphins.
Yes.
Then they have a bye. Then, on a Monday night, they play the Philadelphia Eagles. When the Chiefs win both of those games and get to 8-2, I want 2 things. 1, I want that Tuesday for the Chiefs to be atop the herd hierarchy. And more importantly, I want that Tuesday for the first time in the 6.5 years of my show, for on that Tuesday, instead of me joining you, you join us just for a moment, just for a second, to come on the show, maybe right around the top when we're talking about the Chiefs being the Eagles, and say, you know what? The Chiefs are the best team in the league. Nick's been telling me all year. That's what I would ask. If they do that, can you do that?
Yeah, sure, why not? That day I'm not very busy.
Okay. There you go. The 2 weeks, that would be, 3 weeks from today, America, set your calendars. Colin will be joining us around 3:15 Eastern time. All right, go ahead, as you will.
I'll be the most affordable prop you've ever had on the show, by the way, because I'm on company
also,
dime.
by the way, Colin, affordable, but try to wear a tie. We wear jackets and ties to our show, so try to, you know what I mean, to class it up a bit.
Okay, let's go here, though, because I think the Denver thing is they were bound to lose a divisional game, and divisional games are always weird, and the weather was bad, and Mahomes is. But there is something about this team that Mahomes, and I saw Brady do this at the end in New England, really get frustrated with his teammates. And that's not really who Tom is. He'd get frustrated with his coaches. But when Mahomes is looking at his coaches and doing this, and it's like, yeah, he should. Sky Moore drop one. Rice drop one. Like, this receiving core, it's just not special in the AFC. Aren't you concerned going against Waddle and Tyreek Hill that if it's a track meet, you can't keep up?
Well, I don't think it'll be a track meet because I think the Chiefs have an elite defense. And I'll tell you what I'm confused by. I'm confused by the Chiefs telling the entire world what they were doing and then folks just refusing to accept it because in their mind's eye, the Chiefs are supposed to be something else. The Chiefs traded away Tyreek Hill for draft picks. They used those draft picks on defensive players. They now have a worse offense and a far better defense.
Right.
And everyone seems to be saying, what the hell happened? We know what happened. Tyreek Hill was on the Chiefs. They traded him. With a wide receiving core very similar to this one last year, they won the Super Bowl. Now, what I will tell you is this. What I think they need to do, I don't think they need to add to their wide receiver room, Colin. I think they need to subtract from the wide receiver room in this regard. They have been doing a 6 and 7 wide receiver rotation. I don't think that is going to work anymore. Listen, you can't hit on every draft pick. Sky Moore looks like a missed pick.
Yeah.
Rashee Rice, I think, looks like a really good pick.
Yeah.
So I think you need to go into starting with this game against the Dolphins with a typical wide receiver group where you know who your top 3 are. It will be Rashee Rice, it will be MVS, who was there last year, and the guy who I like a lot, Justin Watson, who dislocated his elbow, but he's back, with some Kadarius Toney mixed in.
Yeah.
None of these guys are getting in a rhythm because everyone is trying to get snaps, and you added McCole Hardman. So listen, the Sky Moore thing doesn't appear to have worked out. I think Rashee Rice can be good. I think the Chiefs are going to go to Germany and beat the Dolphins, and all will be right in the world.
Okay, listen, I have no problem with fans overreacting, but I had said earlier if San Francisco could hit reasonable field goals, they'd be on a 2-game losing streak. And we also found out that Joe Burrow's better than Brock Purdy. What Joe Burrow did to the Niners defense is what Mahomes did last year to the Niners defense. Like, nobody stops those guys when they're on. Ask Kansas City. When Jalen Hurts is on, it's hard. When Josh Allen's on, it's hard. When Lamar's on. So I always said Purdy makes too many good throws not to be considered good. I'm not saying very good, especially good. He's not great. Do you think it's time to move off him? Where are you on Purdy?
Well, no, I don't think it's time to move off him, but I think that he has a very real possibility of becoming the first player in league history to, within the same season, have the talk show topics be, is he the league MVP, turn to, should he be benched for Sam Darnold? I do think that train might be coming down the tracks if after the bye they lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is very on the board. Here, the Purdy thing has been so frustrating for me, because we are seeing Jimmy Garoppolo, once they got Christian McCaffrey, had 10 touchdowns, 1 pick. They only lost 1 game. It was to the Chiefs, and he had a 110 passer rating. And then he got hurt and was done. And now Jimmy Garoppolo, statistically, is one of the very worst quarterbacks in football, despite having Devontae Adams, despite having Josh Jacobs, despite having Hunter Renfrow. It's almost like he was being propped up by what was going on in San Francisco. And then he gets replaced by Brock Purdy, and instead of folks admitting it's the scheme, it's the talent around him, it's all of that, people try to convince themselves Brock Purdy was great. And folks have now started saying, Nick, so Purdy's not allowed a few bad games. He's not allowed to throw picks. Patrick Mahomes throws picks. Josh Allen throws picks. And the answer to that question is, you are right. He is not allowed that because Purdy's entire thing was that he doesn't make mistakes. It was that, hey, yes, we know he can't make all the throws. We know he's not a great athlete. We know he doesn't wow you with his arm. But the folks who couldn't figure out what he was really good at tried to convince themselves, they're like, oh, it's his processing. It's his decision-making. Things you can't actually prove, which really just meant he doesn't make mistakes. And then riddle me that, all of a sudden, he has to play from behind for the first time in his career, and 3 straight second halves, he's brutal. 3 straight games, he either can't move the ball at all in the second half or makes critical errors. And so right now, he is the weak link on the San Francisco 49ers. And so do I think he should be benched right now? No, of course not. Do I think that is going to be a real conversation a month from now? Yes, I do.
All right. I got to ask you, my take on the Sixers and the Clippers trade was most GMs, if you gave them great draft picks, pick swaps, expiring contracts, and better chemistry, would consider it a win. So I think Philadelphia this morning feels like now and future good space. Cap space big with expiring contracts. The Clippers just got weirder. I went to the internet this morning. Everybody loves what the Clippers got. And they didn't give up Terrence Mann. All right, there's your mini win. But Westbrook, Kawhi, Harden, I look at this and I'm like, I think Steve Ballmer's opening an arena just like James Dolan opened the Sphere with U2. I think he's opening an arena and he wants more star power. I don't know how the Clippers, to me, Philadelphia upgraded multiple ways.
I 1,000% agree with you, Colin. I got to tell you, man, if you didn't have a blind spot for the defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs, your takes would just be on fire this year. I think you nailed this. So first of all, and this could be interesting to do later in the show, I'm going to do it on First Things First. Put next to each other what the Blazers got when they traded Drew Holiday to Boston. They got 2 firsts, Robert Williams and Malcolm Brogdon. And what the Sixers just got for James Harden, who had quit on his 3rd team and only one team wanted him. They got 2 firsts and a swap more valuable first, by the way, and players not as good as Robert Williams and Malcolm Brogdon, but also not as injury prone or on long-term contracts the way Robert Williams is. So I think the Sixers just got more for Harden than the Blazers got for Drew Holiday, when they kind of routed him to Boston after the Milwaukee trade. I also think that for Philly, they now have the Clippers' unprotected 2028 pick and the pick swap in 2029 are wildly valuable pieces that they will use, I believe, probably to get a guy I don't think you'll be a big fan of, in Zach LaVine. Your buddy Chris Mannix brought up OG Anunoby. He would be possible. And so they are going to make another move with those assets down the road. The Clippers, on the other hand, they have for 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. That's 6 years of drafts, Colin. They do not have their own first. They do not have their own second. I've never seen anything like it. And Kawhi, Paul George, Russ, and Harden, all four of them are either free agents or have the ability to be free agents after this season. So yes, the reason Harden wanted to go there was because they can pay him, and if Kawhi and Paul George leave, of course Ballmer will pay him, so someone is there for the arena. But do I think this is going to work? No. Harden and Russ played together for 1 year in Houston post OKC, and they both enjoyed it so much, they both demanded trades after. It was like, that was so awful. We both got to get the hell out of here. Yeah. Kawhi and Paul George are health risks. I agree with you entirely that this is the Clippers continuing to just pretend like the championship window is wide open and mortgaging the entire future is baffling. And OKC's got to be happy because they have those picks. And right now Philly has their picks later in the decade. Yeah.
I mean, I looked at it this morning, and I understand it's a star league, and whoever gets the star, everybody. But folks, at some point, every GM in the league is looking for draft picks, pick swaps, expiring contracts, and better chemistry. That's perfect for every GM in the league.
Can I just add something to it real quick?
Yeah.
I think the Clippers typically are like, I don't like a lot of their moves, but I think smart people run the organization. They could have gotten this deal done a week ago with one fewer first-round pick if they would have included Terrence Mann. So the Clippers value Terrence Mann more than a future first. Terrence Mann is 27 years old and career 8 points per game. He's not some young prospect.
Right.
He's 27. So I don't understand what they're doing. And I think that they are a fringe Western Conference playoff team that is operating like they're a fringe champion, and they're nothing close to it.
Nick Wright. Good stuff today. He's a little nervous. Kansas City going overseas against Miami.
They're the one seed.
Could go either way.
I'm not nervous at all. I mean, can I borrow your jet to go to the game? Show how unnervous I am? I'll see you on First Things First 3 weeks from today. Mark your calendar. See you guys.
All right, with a tie.